Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Overtime, your one-stop shop for all things RLCS and Rocket League eSports. I'm your host, Wavepunk. I've got a what's this guy's name? What's your name? What's your name? Oh, I forgot his name. Oh, it's a Quinn. It's a Quinn. There he is. It's Quinn there. And I've got a Gibbs. And I've got a Classics here. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. You just come off a hot 2-0 on Saturday. It was really nice.
Absolutely.
It's not only Classics. It's Classics!
It's right.
It's all caps now.
This is all in caps. Classics.
All caps.
The funniest part is, like, you only notice, like, when you're on, like, the scoreboard, because the nameplates are always in all caps anyways. But then you go to the scoreboard and you're like, wait, why is it all, is there a reason for it all being caps right now?
I changed my name to all caps to have something new, and I've just kept it all season because I've been having a good season. There's no point in changing it.
There you go.
Works for him there. I guess why not? We can take a look at the standings here in North America and how things look after 4 weeks of league play. You heard it from Classics right here. They had a hot week and they're sitting up there tied for first place right now with Cloud9 and G2.
And there's so many tiebreaker scenarios, but basically top two for a world championship bid without having to worry about the regional championships between Cloud9, Ghost, G2, and Energy. Cloud9 has the best chance with the best win percentage, then Ghost, then actually Energy has a better win percentage than G2. So if it does come down to tiebreakers, G2's that odd man out, most likely. So it's going to be a very exciting final finish in the final week.
Yeah, absolutely. There you can see plenty of teams with plenty to play. Only a few teams here that have done their full 6 games. The 4 through 7 spots there have played 6 and only have 1 more to play. And yeah, we would think, put an NRG there in the middle, down at number 4. It's like this isn't necessarily where we're expecting to see them, but at the same time, it's so tight at the top. Like anything could change here really easily.
Yeah, I mean, you see all these teams really. No games, at least no wins separating them, just 1 loss for Energy. And seeing Energy...
Oh, 2 losses for Energy.
Oh, yeah, 2. Well, I mean, 1 loss more than the rest of the other teams that they're tied with. You can be a little more patient. Okay, don't interrupt me.
You weren't going to add that.
Are there any understandings? Are there any big surprises for you, Classics? Like, was there any teams that you don't expect to be at the bottom or you didn't expect to be at the top?
Not really. Like the way the teams are right now, most of the teams in the standings right now are how I've expected it to end up, except for maybe like Energy and G2. I thought maybe Energy be 4-1 and G2 be 4-2.
Cool.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And so, like, as we move forward here in week 4, who do we think is hot? Who do we think is not? Let's talk about this here. We got a cool new thing. It looks like predictions. It looks like, oh, look at that right there. Look at this. I'll say it. I mean, we're just go down the line here. Who do you think's hot right now?
That's a tough one for me, but I think I'm gonna have to say Ghosts.
Ghosts.
Easy answer. Easy answer.
It's a tough one, but it's literally written on his shirt. I'm gonna go with Ghosts too. I'm gonna stick with Classics here.
I'm going to go with G2. They looked really strong.
Dude, my man, yeah.
Let's go, man.
Boom.
G2.
Is this overtime civil war here? Ghosts versus G2. We can talk. First, let's talk about Ghosts in the crazy week. You heard Classics say it earlier. Had a fantastic one going 2-0 here, going up against FlyQuest and Renegades. Had a beautiful week here in the end 4-1.
And that FlyQuest game, Zane Jackie, Classics, just talk about how insane Zane Jackie was during that first series. It seemed like every single play, Zane Jackie either set it up or scored it.
Zane Jackie played out of his mind. Whenever the ball was hit to him, he could have found a way to put it into the net. He turned every situation into a threat. He was always ready for the ball, and he was really showing why he deserved to be there.
Yeah, seriously, and that must have been, a breath of fresh air because the last few series, I felt that Zane Jackie was just, not really playing to his full potential. Not necessarily that he was a disaster or a bad player, but I mean, just compared to this performance, he was incredible.
But at the same time, Ghost, like one of your losses, Cloud9 was a sweep, but no Lethemir. So like you got him back, no internet issues. How good did it feel to actually have the full squad for some full series?
It felt amazing. I just hate how we had to play with a sub against Cloud9, the best team I think in the world at the moment. The results, they won DreamHack at Atlanta, and then they come into league play, they've only lost 1 game. But yeah, and I think what Quinn was talking about, Zane, I think he's been having an amazing season. I don't think he's been looking for. I don't have to disagree with you on that.
They've all been playing pretty well.
I wasn't trying to say he was bad by any means, but I think that compared to where he could be, like his potential, I think Zane's a great player.
But to be fair, it was also during those series without Lethemir.
Right,
like he was very quiet.
I'm not trying to discredit Zane Jackie. You're great, man.
And of course, Classics has to back up his teammates. Come on.
I feel like Zane's kind of a quiet player right now, maybe, but he's always kind of been a quiet player. He's always kind of been that good sweeper. He's always been in a defensive mind. He'll move forward and then he'll immediately fall back to cover the backside. So I feel like Ghost is in a good place right now, as far especially looking forward into week 5.
For sure. Them were looking really good. At the same time, though, G2, they beat Energy. What a series that was. That match was insane. We saw, like, a lot of people had Energy winning this game, but we see Rizzo coming up big in this series, and, like, all 3 stepped up. And, again, Energy, they haven't put together 2 consecutive series where they looked extremely strong so far this season.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. They've just been a little bit disappointing. And G2, on the other hand, it seems like they've taken whatever skill or energy just that energy's left behind. G2 had incredible weekend. That's why I think me and you, Gibbs, had them as our top.
And to be fair, JNAP's, it was his birthday, so that's probably why they went to that birthday luck. The problem was JNAP's did not have party time. He needed that party time goal explosion. It was his birthday.
Like,
come on.
Pink scored.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Fairy Pink should have traded it to JNAP's for just Saturday.
Yeah, he didn't need it on Saturday. You know, just take it on Saturday and they'll give it back for Sunday and he can use it on Sunday. You ever done that? You ever traded an item just to be able to play with it in RLCS?
Yes, I have actually.
Yeah.
These guys trade Alpha Boost like crazy.
Every single RLCS game, Blues trades his Alpha Boost to Zane so he could use it.
Oh, wow.
Every single time.
I bet there's only actually 6 Alpha Boosts among the pros, and they just trade them to whoever wants it for whatever match is happening at the time, so they just keep it rolling forward there. Who did you think was going to win between NRG and G2?
I thought NRG was going to take it out, but G2 definitely surprised me, and JNAP's played extremely well, like he always does. I think he's an amazing player.
Yeah.
He really showed it on Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were all predicting NRG as well. You saw the whole board on the desk was NRG there. But also, talking about other teams that had interesting weeks here, Renegades went 0-2, and they played with Miho there in the second series of the day. Talk to me, guys, about this substitution. Was it the right decision? Was it the wrong decision? What does Renegades do moving into the last week?
So at that point, they were backs against the wall. They needed to win the series to stay alive, and why not bring in Miho, try and change it up? It worked for them last season when they traded out Pluto for Timmy, so they're like, let's try it again. But the real question, I think, is will Miho continue to play throughout the season? They obviously don't have a chance for the playoffs, but for promotion relegation, that's a very big series coming up in just like 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, I think it's a scary situation for Moses to be in, where, and even really the team as a whole, where they're just not confident in how they're playing as a whole. I guess Moses may be thinking, he was tweeting out, I don't know if you guys saw it, he's like, time to bring out the secret weapon. And just Miho coming in. And actually, I was really surprised by Miho's performance. I think that they did play better. The trouble is they have way less time playing with Miho than with Moses at practice. I mean, Classics, you can talk about it yourself. How many times do you think, like, oh, I wish we had a substitute, this player's not playing on today? Is that ever, like, a concern for you guys?
Not really, because that also demoralizes the player that you sub out, and that's that's gonna hurt them the rest of the season. Usually when someone plays bad, they just have a bad day, and you help them get through it and make it to the next weekend. I would never really want to sub someone out.
Well, you said it was Moses that was tweeting out that they had a secret weapon, though, right?
Yeah, Moses wrote time to bring out the secret weapon.
I wonder how much that was Moses, like, trying to, like, encourage himself that, like, this is the right thing for the team, we're going to pull in Miho there, and they didn't get the victory there. Rogue actually ended up sweeping them. They only have one more match in league play. You think we see Miho again next week?
I think we do, because at that point, they thought backs against the wall, they bring Miho in. They brought him in for a reason. So I think they're going to have to use him for the rest of the season. We'll probably see him in promotion relegation, but who knows? Like, we don't know exactly what's going on, but I did like that Moses was trying to encourage the team and try and get them into it.
A lot of just shout outs to Moses for actually saying whether or not he thought he was the problem, he figured something had to change, and that's a difficult decision no matter who you are.
I feel like Renegades has been a team that has had to use subs more than we've seen other teams in the past. Like we were talking about with Pluto last season, subbing himself out there, and then Moses now coming out and Miho coming in. So we'll see how they play in the last week there of league play. But moving forward, where are the players after 4 weeks of going through the accolades? We've got strikers and assists and saves all on the line here. Leaders here for North America. Let's take a look at who's in the lead right now for Golden Striker. Gimmick had a bye week, still sitting clean at the top of there. The only person who has broken 1 goal per game. But down at the bottom there, hey, those are 2 players we know. Hey, I know that name. All in caps. I mean, they're all in caps right now. But, that's how it is. Classics there, number 4.
Yeah. Do my best to get as many goals as possible, get the team in the lead, and we scored a lot. I got a lot of free goals. My teammates have been setting me up a lot, to be honest.
Now, the real question is, though, coming into the last week, you're 4th and Lethamir's 5th. When there's a slow roller going in that Lethamir touched last, are you going to be trying to creep up to it?
Just a bit. We had to talk about it, actually. I actually had to talk about this. So I'm going to try to get Leth as many assists as possible because he's up there. And then I'm going to get as many goals as possible. I mean, except Zane could have the saviors.
Yeah, that's good. Just split it off, see if you can get. Man, how crazy would it be if we had like one team win all the awards for a region?
We almost had it with NRG. They were doing really well last season, so that almost happened. Except for saves, that's the hard part. Like when you're doing so well, there's less saves to go around. So it's tough.
Be like, hey, for this 3rd game, we've got a 2-game lead. How about we just sit back and just let the one guy who's in goal just like get as many saves as possible? Just
don't give pros ideas.
I don't know. I'd be really entertained. I'd be really entertained if they were able to pull it off. Speaking of assists here, as you heard him saying that Lethamir was up on the assist board. Let's take a look at who's in the lead here for North America. You see J-Naps down there at number 5. Ty Not Tyler, Squishy Muffins, and Gimmick still. Gimmick actually I think was in second last week, and some other players' averages dropped down.
It was
the same.
He was number 1 with 1 assist, but again, he only played like 5 games.
Right.
So his average has gone down. His Classics was just not being nice and not scoring the goals that Lethemir passed to him. So Lethemir has dropped off the list. Who knows? He can still make a comeback. He's got 2 series, and again, his average has more variance because he's played a lot less games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really surprised this clutch playmaker seeing Ty Not Tyler there. Yeah. That's a super interesting stat there, especially because it seemed like he was scoring actually the most of his team's goals, but I figured now at this point, maybe his 2 teammates are struggling a little bit to kind of make opportunities for themselves, and that's put Ty Not Tyler into more of a playmaker role.
They certainly will. But moving forward onto the defensive side of the ball and how things are going as far as saves over there. I believe it is Seabass. Yes, still speaking of allegiance there. This is more typically where we would expect to see teams that are at the bottom of the standings is in the savior side because they're having to play so much defense. But still, teams like Garrett and Rizzo, these players, G2 and NRG up at the top, still having to make a lot of saves here.
And plus, last week we saw Kronovi up here and not Rizzo, but Rizzo 15 saves versus NRG. One of the main reasons why they won that series, and that's why he's moved up.
Just an incredible stat right there.
Is there ever any sort of like, we've talked about this before, Classics, with, you know, like the savior is given often to the teams that is having to play the most defense. It's almost maybe something you don't want. Do you think the players feel that way about it?
Yeah, I do think they feel that way. Usually you want to cut the ball off in midfield or before it gets to your net. If the ball gets to your net, you didn't do it successfully. People don't want to get many saves. You want to get less saves.
Yeah, that makes sense there. But hey, still get some money there, some consolation at the end if you are. And again, some fantastic players on that list. So, talking about the RLRS here for North America and where everybody's sitting, we can take a look at the standings of how those look after the league plays that they have had so far. Fibian sitting at 6-0, which would be an RLCS record if it was an RLCS, but right now it's PSG over in Europe that has actually gotten there. But we're getting ahead of ourselves with the undefeated teams right now. Hollywood Hammers sitting at 5-1 now, 2-way tie for third.
But the very big game that happened last week, Hollywood Hammers could have been also 6-0 going to the final week. They played Out of Style, and Out of Style swept them. So now Out of Style, they still have a chance at the top 2. They just have to perform better than Hollywood Hammers. They both have separate games. As long as Out of Style performs better, they will move up, and Fibian has already guaranteed a spot in the promotion relegation.
Which I'm sure Fibian feels so happy about, especially considering their, not great play-in performance. They're leading them into RLRS. I don't know. What do you think about Fibian and these RLRS teams? Do you think that they're really going to come into the RLCS and maybe make a big impact? Do people kind of underestimate the RLRS?
I think one team is going to come out of RLRS. I think Allegiance is going to step down. I don't think they're going to be able to hold up under the pressure again like they did in qualifiers. I think either Fibian or Out of Style is going to make it into the RLCS.
No Hollywood Hammers.
I don't know. Out of Style with Justin.
Fired.
I think Justin is by far the best player in RLRS. He's amazing.
Wow. I can see it. So we were talking about this earlier. You think of if Out of Style doesn't make it through, do you think Justin gets picked up by an RLCS team?
I'd say there's probably about a 50% chance he does.
Yeah.
There was like a little light bulb.
Wait a minute. He might replace me.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You know the way you replaced Quinn.
Exactly.
It's easy. It's just the nature of the pros. This is how it works there. But folks, talking about week 5, we got one more week of league play here in RLCS. We'll take a look at the schedule. And guys, talk to me here about what we're looking forward to. Match 6, holy cow, NRG versus Cloud9. I cannot wait for that game. And Classics, you guys have 2 more games here in the last week. They're going up against Rogue and G2.
Yeah, it all comes down to this. We're going to try our best to get as many wins as possible. Whatever happens, happens. We're just going to do our best, try to get those W's.
And you're going to be going up against one of the other teams that is sitting at 4-1, G2. How are you feeling about that match?
I'm feeling pretty confident. The last 2 seasons, actually, I've eliminated G2 from LAN, and I've eliminated them from top 6.
That's right.
I'm going to try to make this the 3rd time's the charm. Maybe I can do it. We'll see.
Classics the Kronovi killer, man.
No, really, Classics, I've noticed this. Anytime Classics goes up against Kronovi or any Kronovi team, it's just like the mind games are there. Classics like such an aggressive player, and Kronovi,
To be fair, I'm pretty sure Classics never beat me when I was with Kronovi. I'm just saying, maybe Kronovi's not Kronovi is the problem. Maybe I'm the solution.
Stop trying to be relevant.
That was so long ago. That was like
it was like 3 years ago.
We're washed up, okay?
Gibbs, there was an ESL where we took you 4-1 in Wasteland.
Oh, because it was Wasteland. That's why. That's why we're going back to only standard maps.
Sure.
Rest in peace, Wasteland. Won't happen there. But folks, it's going to be a great show. We've got a lot of fun stuff in store for you. We'll talk about playoffs. We'll have some trivia. But first, we're going to recap Europe. We'll do that and more when we come back from the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.